It's currently the afternoon after the Elimination Chamber. Um, Apparently, it didn't do too well, according to the fans. I'm actually waiting to see what ESPN's rating for the Elimination Chamber is going to be. These pay per views. I mean, ESPN has been. I mean, even though that we pay $30 to $40 to see nothing but buffering, sound issues, and the occasional resolution blurouts like we had during Finn Balor versus CM Punk and the whole Elimination Chamber audio problem. I think it was in the women's match when you can see the audience and hear the audience, but nothing was happening as far as the noise. ESPN has been pretty base with their ratings. So the show, actually, before I even get into what happened, apparently CM Punk said that the Elimination Chamber format is extremely not predictable, extremely formulaic, and that he's glad that he's not doing the can they coexist storyline leading up to WrestleMania. So, the product has been so bad and creatively bankrupt to the point where the stars themselves are even coming out and saying, yeah, I've never really seen that before. Even Tiffany said, yeah, I don't know what I am. They didn't have anything for me as far as my character. I got stale, and they didn't have anything for me after I won the title. She said this during an interview. Like, AJ Styles, yeah. WrestleMania has lost his luster, so I just thought the Royal Rumble would be more special to me. Wow, you still have the fans, coping and everything. Even the stars themselves are saying it. CM Punk called the Elimination Chamber format boring, and he's the world champion. He's got everything to lose. AJ Styles, he has nothing to lose. He just, signed a Hall of Fame deal. But the show started off with pyro and Michael Cole saying that the show was sold out. But the controversy was that they weren't selling out tickets or even floor seats before the show even came to be. Weeks and weeks of them not being able to sell to the point where they had to have a blackout, just like they're having for WrestleMania 42 because things. But we got pyro. And I think that they just, were handing out free tickets. But we got pyro, which is something that's always refreshing. Then we got Kiana James and Tiffany Stratton and other people coming into the match. This was probably the most boring, probably the worst Elimination Chamber match for the women that I've seen in a while. The one from last year was pretty good. But yeah, we got Tiffany Stratton doing a handspring, a round off back handspring, attempted forearm into Kiana James, and then Raquel was inside the cage, not inside the cage, she was inside the pod, and you can just see her meta glasses. So I already expected that she was going to be filming for her TikTok, and she did. She released the footage. It was pretty funny. But then we get Kiana James trying to prevent Asuka from getting outside the cage. Kiana James really showed out. Kiana James and Raquel and Kiana were the high spots. But even though that I'm a huge fan of Kiana James, still not sure why they're doing Julia so dirty. I think Julia should just go about her business somewhere else where she's appreciated, because WWE isn't going to give her that shine. I mean, they don't even give Asuka that shine. Asuka's been in the company for almost 11 years or so, and she hasn't won at WrestleMania, and she got the, I mean, I wouldn't say jobber, but it felt weird. It felt strange to have Asuka be the one to take that stack pin by Raquel. But anyways, we get we got Alexa Bliss doing the Twisted Bliss for the 100,000th time. Alexa Bliss does that in every single chamber match. And of course, before we get the Twisted Bliss onto everyone, we have to have them huddled up and piled up and everything. It's just like it's the same exact thing every single time. Either it's Io on top of the cage at War Games, and she's got the garbage can, and then we have people huddled up and waiting. It makes everything look whack. But then we get Alexa Bliss being misted in the face by Asuka, and then Kiana James eliminates Alexa Bliss. I thought that was pretty cool. Oh yeah, we got Kiana catapulting Tiffany into the cage, into the pod. We got Rhea doing a senton onto Raquel, and then we got Raquel receiving a moonsault by Tiffany Stratton, riptide to Tiffany Stratton, and then yeah, that's it really. The match ended. These is extremely anticlimactic. Probably the worst. Like, it was very boring. It was bad, and then we got Rhea pointing up to the sign, and then Jade kind of just existing there, not doing much, just like she does with the rest of her title reign, because they have nothing for her. They still have no plans for her. Well, actually, yeah, they do have a plan, but the problem is every time Rhea gets a shot at WrestleMania, the story or the build is extremely insignificant and it's lacking. Like last year, all she had to do to get her triple threat match title shot was to whine until Adam Pearce said, "Okay, fine, you're in the match." Even though she didn't win the Chamber, she didn't win the Rumble. This year, she won the Rumble. What the hell? This year she won the This show is so bad. Like, I don't know. I kind of tuned it out. Nothing really happened. As far as the only good match was the men's match, and that's crazy because this year the women's Rumble was better than the men's Rumble, and now the men's Chamber is better than the women's Chamber. It's kind of interesting how that works. But yeah, Jade is holding her title up like she's actually a champion who people care about. But, they kind of failed her creatively. So they just kind of have her walking around and saying, "Good luck" to everyone, or "Hope you make it to Rumble. Hope you make it to WrestleMania." I'm stuttering because I'm trying to, like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to care. I'm trying to be invested, but there's nothing to be invested in. There's no real reason, like there's no story, no desire to see a Jade and a Rhea if there was a story component into it. What I'm saying is, do we really care about Jade's title reign and if it ends at WrestleMania? There's not really much of a reign to look back on. Her only match was against Jordynne Grace, and she's been champion since November. It's March 1st. That's kind of crazy. Only one defense in like 4 months. That's crazy to think about. But yeah, after that, we get AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch does AJ Lee's taunt on the ropes, and then they do a little scuffle, and somehow, some way, the referee gets knocked out because we can't have a title match. We can't have many title matches, at least on one card, where the champion or the challenger somehow knocks out the referee, and then either someone interferes or cheats. It's the same thing. So I was actually expecting Becky to cheat by somehow knocking out Jessica Carr, and it happened. But then somehow Becky Lynch ended up losing after cheating, and then AJ Lee became the women's Intercontinental Champion. But I'm actually glad to see that AJ Lee is holding a championship that doesn't look like a butterfly. The only problem is AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. The build was trash because AJ Lee's a part-timer and not really much of a build to go off there. And then on top of that, we're probably going to have AJ Lee not really show up to work. She's probably going to be what Brock Lesnar was as Universal Champion, what Roman Reigns was as Universal Champion. It's not really fun to think about. This AJ Lee, see, I mean, a lot of people thought AJ Lee was going to show up to work more and not be a part-timer, but it's clear what her role is, unfortunately. So then we get Finn Balor versus CM Punk. Nothing really happened. Nothing out of the ordinary. CM Punk ended up beating Finn Balor straightforward, just like he did a month ago or whenever their first match was, and then a handshake. So we got the same exact ending as we had back in Europe, which is back in Dusseldorf or wherever. I think it was Belfast or I think Ireland or something like that. So this match was pretty much a waste of time because they ran it back and then ended it the exact same way. Finn Balor having the mutual respect handshake with CM Punk after he got hit with the GCS. We saw the exact same thing. And then CM Punk was embraced by AJ Lee, who ran down to the ring with her championship. And then, yeah, we got like an ad or two, or many people didn't get ads. I don't know. And then we got, Adam Pearce and Nick Aldis coming out with the crate, that we've been waiting for. Well, I didn't really care to see what was in it because I knew it was going to be a letdown. It's kind of like when we had Eric Rowan walking around with a little cage, but it was just a mechanical spider. So then it was Danhausen from AEW. His contract expired, I think, a couple days ago. So yeah, Danhausen came out, and good thing this wasn't in Michigan. It was in Chicago, so it would have been bad to see him get booed in his hometown. But Danhausen was not received well by the audience because, well, I mean, a Danhausen. We waited so long. We waited so long to get Danhausen. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with him. Either if they're going to have him backstage as a comedy act, or have him in catering, or have him as like a catering crusader comedy act, or whatever the hell. But I'm pretty indifferent about it. And yes, I do know who this dude is. So after that, we get Trick Williams, aura, mega aura. I'm talking about like this dude. It feels like every time I see Trick Williams, it feels like he's been on the main roster for years. So then we got Javon Evans barking at the camera. I don't care how old he is. He's older than me. I think the 6'7" stuff should really go. I think that stuff should end. 6'7" should be left in 2025. The whole 6'7", not really a fan. I don't care about the 6'7" garbage. We get Cody Rhodes and Javon starting off the Elimination Chamber match. And then we get Logan Paul, Trick Williams, Javon Evans, and Cody Rhodes in the spot to where all three of them are teaming up on Logan Paul. Yeah, and then Logan Paul gets tossed off the stage, and then Javon Evans, he kind of does a frog splash onto Trick Williams, and then Logan Paul does a pulverizer and almost paralyzes Javon Evans. And then Logan Paul pins Trick Williams. He pins LA Knight. He pins and then he gets curb stomped by Seth Rollins, who we all know was the Max Man. But the thing about LA Knight botching is the fact that people are saying, well, this is see he botched, he slipped. This is why he's not in the world title scene. This is why he doesn't. This is why he was overrated. But the same people are talking about how the Jay hate is forced and how he's a great world champion, but he botched every single match up until he won the world title. The dude was forced into the main event scene, and even on Rikishi said, yeah, he's exhausted at family dinners. Jay Uso was like, yeah, I'd be gassed, and then I think it was Triple H who said, yeah, well, this isn't working out. We're gonna have to pull your singles push. Jay Uso on Unreal apparently said, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gassed, I'm sorry. But if the fans say, "Oh, the hate is so forced," they're saying Jay Uso even told y'all he ain't good enough to be a main eventer. But yet, a world title scene. Damian Priest almost ended his own life multiple times by mistake, by botches. I remember it was in Scotland or something where he was fighting Drew McIntyre. He tried to go for a rope step tope suicida, almost broke his own leg and neck. Nobody cared about that though. The double standards are crazy. But yeah, we get Seth Rollins exiting the Elimination Chamber. The door was open for so long, so we got major plot hole when the door was open for an eternity. And then we got Drew McIntyre coming into the match with the WWE title, and then hitting Golden Boy Cody in the back of the head, and then Cody kind of saw him coming, so he put the boot up, and then RKO to Drew McIntyre, RKO to Cody Rhodes, and then that's the end of the show. And then people were excited that Randy Orton won, but then they were expecting something more. And then when they didn't get it, they kind of just quieted down, and then the show was just kind of left with a dead audience. And then Triple H is backstage talking about Danhausen, and then I saw a report this morning talking about how the Danhausen debut wasn't a unanimous one, and the higher ups, weren't confident about him debuting, and said that, pretty much it was a mixed bag even with them. So I still don't understand why they did it if they weren't confident about it. But anyways, we get a WWE table interview thingy when they're like, it's like Joe Chetzator, Wade Barrett, and Big E or Peter Rosenberg, and then WWE gave us what we wanted: another rematch of Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, because we all wanted to see that. And if you disagree, you're a hater, or shut up and be a fan, or something like that. Hopefully this ends in something like a disqualification or interference, because nobody's trying to sit through another. 3 Stages of Hell didn't end it, so I don't know why they're running it back. Now, people are saying it's going to be either a fatal 4-way between Randy, Drew, Jacob, and Cody, or a triple threat between Cody and Drew or Jacob. But the thing is, if you keep thrusting people into matches, multi-man matches at WrestleMania for the championship, that kind of defeats the purpose of Elimination Chamber and Royal Rumble. Those are insertions just from being either angry or crying to the management until you get what you want, like Rhea Ripley did last year. I'm not sure. So do away with the Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber then, if you keep adding people into matches that only you literally need a golden ticket from Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, and you're gonna potentially have a triple threat match for there is a reason, but not at WrestleMania. That's stupid. that defeats the entire purpose of a Royal Rumble Elimination Chamber with victory. That's not fair. That's not fair to Randy, and it's not fair to Roman. It's stupid to me, and they keep doing it. They keep doing the same. That's insanity. Trying the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. That's crazy. And people are going to justify it and say, well, Jacob, to be fair, if it is a multi-man match for the for the WWE Championship, so-and-so has beef with him. So that doesn't matter. He didn't win the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. Kind of defeats the purpose. But yeah, let me know what you think about the Elimination Chamber this year. Did you enjoy it? Which match was your favorite? Which match was your least favorite? Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Lemon out.